We had hard fouls. Marina Mabrey was hitting some threes, and there was a blunder that cost the Chicago Sky the game. Here is your recap for the Connecticut Sun versus the Chicago Sky.
Quita loves sports. It is in the name.
What is up, awesome people of the internet? Last night, the Connecticut Sun narrowly defeated the Chicago Sky 82-80. Now, when I say narrowly, I mean really, really, really narrowly. Guys, this was a 2-point game, and the reason why was because the Connecticut Sun allowed the Chicago Sky to hang on in that first half, and then they did have a run in that second half. Now, going into this game, I had the Sun winning this game by a decent amount because the Sun is a better team, and because they now had Marina Mabrey, which was the 3-point shooter for the Chicago Sky. Now, the Chicago Sky was having none of that, as they actually went off to a really nice start, led at the start of the game by Kennedy Carter and Kamilla Cardoso in the first quarter. Now, guys, over the last couple of games, we have seen Kamilla get better and better and better, gaining more confidence, not only to sort of catch and score at the basket, but also she also seems to feel comfortable going for long jumpers as well. Ever since we returned from Olympic break, Kamilla has been getting a lot more touches, especially early in a game, which has resulted in success for the Chicago Sky. In the last 4 games so far, she has been scoring in double figures, which absolutely you need Kamilla Cardoso to do every single night. I'm glad that they are looking for her and giving her more touches early in the game. Now it's only making sure that she sort of is able to continue to get those touches later in the game, which is, a thing. But early in the game, I really do like this decision by the Chicago Sky because, she is doing really, really well. Yesterday was her best game so far. She had 18 points and 6 rebounds for the Chicago Sky.
Kamilla, how would you assess the growth that you've seen out of your game, especially your shot range in the second half of the season? We've just seen you take more shots that are not just right around the rim. Is that something that you really worked on, and is that something that we're going to see later on this season?
Yeah, that's something I worked on, and my teammates and my coaches showed me so much confidence, so they made me feel comfortable just start shooting the mid-range shot.
Hey, Coach, how would you assess Kamilla Cardoso's growth in the second half of the season? We've just seen her take more shots outside of just that restricted area around the rim. We've also seen her defensive game just grow. How would you assess what you've seen out of her in the second half of the season?
She's just more comfortable. That's what happens when you continue to play the game. She's more comfortable. And I've said this again. She's meeting the challenge. I've challenged her. She's meeting the challenge. She's not afraid to shoot the ball. And I don't want her to be. We're not boxed athletes over here. We're athletes who want to be, comfortable. And she's very comfortable right now. She's sure of herself. And there's a lot of confidence that we tried to just pour into her as a staff, as well as her teammates. She's only just feeling much better about herself and where she is. She helped this team to be successful. And it's great to see. It's awesome to see.
Now, Kennedy Carter was also a huge spark for the Chicago Sky now that she is back in the starting lineup. And if you all watch Kennedy's game, you all can see that Kennedy, y'all, she is a player who can pretty much do anything she wants on the court. She can score at will at the basket. She can get the mid-range jumper to go. And that's exactly what she did yesterday for her squad. She added 19 points for the Chicago Sky. She also is the Sky's best entry passer in the post, finishing the game with 4 assists. But even though Kennedy Carter had a good offensive game, that's not what everybody's thinking about today. When people are thinking about Kennedy Carter today, they are thinking about what she did on defense. Take a look at this. In the first quarter of the game, Marina Mabrey did a pump fake. And Kennedy Carter was guarding her at the time, and she swiped at the ball and got Marina's face pretty badly, actually, and was called for a foul. Now, Marina Mabrey laid on the floor holding her face for a little bit, so the refs decided, hey, maybe we should look at that. Maybe something else was happened. And they went to the monitors, and once they did, it was very clear that, yes, that indeed should get upgraded. It was upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul, which, as the WNBA defines in Rule 12B of the rule book, it says if contact is committed against a player with or without the ball is interpreted to be unnecessary, a flagrant foul 1 penalty will be assessed. A personal foul is charged to the offender, and a team foul is charged to the team. So, yeah. It results in 2 free throws for the player who is the object of the foul, and that player's team is awarded possession of the ball. Now, I think that was a good decision to upgrade that foul, because to me, once they showed the replay, I was like, yeah, that's for sure a flagrant one. It was definitely unnecessary. Yes, absolutely, swipe at the ball, but she didn't even, I don't even think she even got contact with the ball. It was all Marina's face, which I'm sure did not feel good. In my opinion, yeah, it was the exact right call for the refs to make, and I'm happy that they were able to quickly go to the monitors, review that, and call it exactly what it was. Because, yeah, it was very, very unnecessary, in my opinion. It's hard to know if Chennedy was just playing hard or if she had a little intentionally going after her former teammate. But she was not interviewed after the game, so we don't quite know for sure. Though, yeah. Y'all can think however y'all want to think, but we don't know for sure. But Marina Mabrey did take it like a champ. She made her free throws, and we moved on. Now, here is what Marina Mabrey had to say after the game.
Marina, I'll ask bluntly. I know that this is a game against your former team. This is like game against like every other day, but early in the game, you came in, got hard foul, flagrant fouls to your face. It's smack to the face. What was your reaction to that? Did that spot fire up and change anything mentality wise?
I mean, there's levels to this shit, so I'm not gonna fight with that.
Eat it.
Keep a straight face.
I'm sorry.
You fucking laughing.
And the thing to note is that flagrants get points. Flagrant ones get points. A player who commits a flagrant one at 4 or 5 points receives an automatic 1-game suspension in the W. All right, and if you all are wondering about the rules around, okay, if that was a flagrant 1, what is a flagrant 2? Well, a flagrant 2 is both unnecessary and excessive, all right? Flagrant 1 is just unnecessary. Flagrant 2 is unnecessary and excessive. All right, Chennedy Carter would ultimately foul out of the game in the 4th quarter, really hurting the Sky's chance to actually win. Now, I briefly talked about her, but let's kind of talk about it a little bit more. Marina Mabrey. Marina Mabrey had herself a fantastic game yesterday. This was her first game against her former team, the Chicago Sky, after she requested to be traded. Now, the Chicago Sky players, they kind of feel a type of way about Marina Mabrey, with her wanting to leave and expressing how much more she's enjoying being with the Connecticut Sun. In the pregame, both the Chicago Sky and Marina ignored each other. And when Marina came off the bench, she had something to prove. And she did that with 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. Marina Mabrey ultimately drained 5 of 7 from the 3-point line. And she finished with an incredibly efficient 24 points in just 25 minutes. And again, she came off the bench. Might I add, this was her first game off the bench for the Connecticut Sun. And guys, this is exactly why the Sun traded for Marina. It's her ability to go off and have big games like this. This is sort of the difference maker between winning and losing. Marina Mabrey draining 3-point shot after 3-point shot. Yes, the Connecticut Sun have Ty Harris, who is really good at the 3. However, they just didn't have enough additional bodies who can drain threes. And that's why they got her. This is a team that is looking to win a WNBA championship this year. And the thing that was missing was shooting. Yes, they got defense on lock. They're really, really good at defense. However, sometimes they struggle to score. They get off to slow starts pretty often, and they struggle. And having a player like Marina in your back pocket to either start a game or to close out a game is huge. Absolutely huge for this team, and very, very smart decision for them to trade for Marina, because they are in win-now mode. So that's something to note, guys. Marina Mabrey had her best game of the season. And it's perfect timing because the playoffs will be here before you know it. And a sort of warmed up and ready to go Marina Mabrey is a great recipe for the Connecticut Sun. Also, for the Sun, DeWanna Bonner almost had a double-double with 15 points and 8 rebounds. Now, to talk more about those 8 rebounds, they were pretty special because DeWanna Bonner made history yesterday, becoming the 10th player in WNBA history with at least 3,000 career rebounds. She finished the game with 3,003 rebounds. She's also the second player in the W to have 7,000 plus points, 3,000 plus rebounds, and 1,000 plus assists. Of course, the number one on that list is the GOAT, Tamika Catchings. Now, guys, I would say that this game got really, really interesting in the third quarter when the Chicago Sky went on a massive run, scoring 29 points and going into the fourth quarter leading by 1 point. Now, that fourth quarter was an absolute slog with these teams battling it out, trying to see who was ultimately going to win this game. And to me, it really came down to the last minute of the game. It was the Sky up top by 1 point, 80-79. Ty Harris had just made 2 free throws, and Chennedy Carter had the basketball. Chennedy ends up scoring the basket with the refs calling a blocking foul on Dejanay Carrington on that play. Now, the foul, to me, looked more like a charge from Chennedy than a block from Dejanay. Steph White was ready, and she ended up calling the challenge, which was a good decision. Steph White is the head coach for the Connecticut Sun. She called a challenge on that play. And it was a good decision because the refs looked at that and said, yeah, that's a charge. The points do not count. That is a charge on Chennedy Carter. We are reversing that. So instead of it being a blocking foul on Dejanay, it's a charge on Chennedy. Basket wiped away. Turnover for the Chicago Sky. It is Connecticut Sun basketball. And to me, that really did kind of turn the tide against the Chicago Sky. On the other end, DeWanna Bonner ends up getting fouled by Lindsey Allen. This guy, decided to challenge that. The call still stands. DeWanna ends up making one of her 2 free throws. And then the Chicago Sky had the basketball. All right. Angel gets the rebound. The Sky call a timeout. They work up a play. And the play that it looks like they drew was for a pick and roll action between Lindsey Allen and Kamilla Cardoso. Kamilla sets the screen, and then as she's rolling, we see Lindsey Allen sort of step into the paint a little bit, and she decides to go for the mid-range jumper instead of passing it off to Kamilla Cardoso. So Lindsey Allen, that's actually not even a paint shot. It was like a 14-footer jumper by Lindsey Allen. She winds up missing the shots. Instead of waiting another second to pass it down low to Kamilla Cardoso, who's rolling to the basket, she decides to pull up for the 14-footer. She winds up missing it. And to me, that was the blunder that really did cost the Chicago Sky the game. They had time. They had time on the clock, and instead of waiting that half second to get the most optimal shot, which is passing it to your post player and having your post player make something happen, ended up being a guard jump shot. And Lindsey Allen, yeah, she can score, but consistently that type of shot is not her shot. She was playing really, really well up until this point in that game, but that was not her shot. She winds up missing it. We see DeWanna Bonner ends up getting the rebound. The Connecticut Sun call a timeout. Chennedy Carter ends up fouling Alyssa Thomas. AT makes both of her free throws. Now, guys, we have a 2-point game. All right, we have a 2-point game. It is 82 Connecticut Sun, 80 Chicago Sky. The Sky, they have 4 seconds left to come up with something. They have 2 cracks at it at the end of the game. But ultimately, there was a inbound. Angel got the ball. She tried to do a handoff to Lindsey Allen well beyond a 3-point line, which in my opinion makes no sense. At that point, Chennedy Carter was fouled out of the game, and so normally you would give that ball to Chennedy and have her sort of do whatever she wants. But the handoff decision with Angel and Lindsay Allen, it made absolutely no sense whatsoever. Because Lindsay Allen is not a long 3-point shooter. The play resulted in a turnover, but even if it wasn't going to be a turnover, it didn't make any sense because Lindsay Allen, first of all, they were way too far away from the basket to do anything. To me, it made way more sense to just throw the ball towards the basket, float it up there, have Kamilla Cardoso jump for it, and either she gets the ball and makes the shot, gets the ball, gets fouled, does not get the ball, but at least it's a better opportunity than ultimately what we saw. But the Sky end up with 2 blunders, in my opinion, to sort of end the game. And the Sky actually really did have a chance to win. They had a chance to win, but, it is what it is. Now, a couple more things to note about this game is Angel Reese made history again, finishing the game with 13 points and grabbing 20 boards for the second consecutive time. Now, guys, she is now the first WNBA player in history to have 20-plus rebounds consecutively. And to make it a little bit more of a LSU Shaquille O'Neal reference, did you know that Angel and Shaquille O'Neal are the only rookies in NBA and WNBA history to have consecutive 20-rebound games? Now, Shaquille O'Neal was a rookie in 1993, and that's when he did that. He did that in April of that year. And it's kind of fitting that Angel would reach a Shaquille O'Neal mark right after her new line actually just got released with Reebok. So it's kind of cool. Now, all that being said, with the record and whatnot, that's like, yay, that's fantastic. However, we do have to acknowledge that Angel Reese had a terrible first half, where she really could not hit any shot at all. And the thing that I really liked about Angel Reese in yesterday's game is, yes, she had a horrible first half. She did. She was atrocious. Just couldn't hit baskets at the rim, couldn't hit mid-range baskets. She couldn't hit anything. But what I liked is that instead of having a bad half and holding your head down and like, woe was me, I suck, this is terrible, just sort of sulking. Instead of doing that, she came into the second half and was laser focused. And she really was the spark for the Chicago Sky in that third quarter. The reason why the Sky go on a massive run, scored 29 points in that second half, in that third quarter, I should say, is because of Angel Reese. She was the player that was just hustling, getting some shots to go in that second half. She got to the free throw line, and sometimes you have those times. Sometimes you have a bad half. Sometimes you have a bad game. But it's all about how you respond and how you adjust. And I thought that Angel Reese did a really good job of that in the second half. Yes, she ultimately has a horrible field goal percentage, but it does say a lot to just be able to rebound the way that she has, like literally and figuratively, sort of like adjusting from the terrible half that she had to get back in this, stay focused in the game, and not just sort of space out and lose it because you had a bad first half. So I thought that was pretty huge, because it's not about just having a bad game; it's how you respond, or having a bad half is how you respond. And I thought she responded really, really well. Now for the Sun, the engine, of course, is Alyssa Thomas, who was this close to getting a triple-double in yesterday's game. She finished with 12 points, 11 assists, and 9 rebounds. She also had 4 steals as well. Guys, Alyssa Thomas is a full package. Yes, she's not going to score a ton of points, but she is going to be the most impactful player on her team just about every time, regardless of how many points she actually scores. It's her ability to defend. It's her ability to pass the ball. It's her ability to just get her teammates involved and do whatever she needs to do to make her team successful. She really is sort of the full package at that point forward role, especially considering she is dealing with 2 basically broken shoulders. Now, a quick fun fact. Did you know in WNBA history, this is the 5th time that a player has had 10 plus points, 10 plus assists, 9 plus rebounds, and 4 plus steals in a game. The last 3 of those belong all to Alyssa Thomas. The score was 82-80. The Connecticut Sun find a way to get the dub at home, and Marina Mabrey is starting to cook, which is a tough recipe for the rest of the WNBA. Now, guys, what do y'all think about this game? Let me know in the comments below. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me, and make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.